There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Note to self, check the mic battery before you do all of those things. Anyway, thank you. For those of you just now joining or joining for the first time, welcome. My name is Jay, CEO of Cashflow Diary. What we do is we help you become a entrepreneur, leveraging real estate, specifically short-term rentals, and we teach a lot of business lessons along the way. With that being said, what we do on streams like these is not so much about short-term rentals. And if that's information that you're seeking, awesome. You want to get over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. Again, cashflowdiary.com/learn live, because that's where we produce that particular information. Now, with all of that being said, what I want to do is I want to quickly share with you what we're going to be talking about in this video. Specifically, we mentioned that in this video, what we're going to be talking about is some clues in the news, if you will. How to use certain news to be able to find the opportunity in your own local area or in the macro. And then we talked about the idea of pivoting. Specifically, I'm going to give you a number of questions in 5 different categories that you can be asking yourself right now, today, so that you can figure out what your next move needs to be and be able to put yourself in a position to make it happen. So we're going to handle all of those things and more right now. Okay, so here's the news article that I want to use for our test project, if you will. I want to share with you how looking at this can help you identify opportunity. As you can see, what's here is that Marriott is estimating a significant, in this case, 23% drop in first quarter revenue per room. Now, if you're not familiar with the term revenue per room, I'm going to use, in this case, we're going to use short-term rental and accommodation and hospitality numbers to help understand the business lesson behind it all. Revenue per room is basically where you take your occupancy rate. So if your occupancy rate, say, is 70%, and every time the room is rented in a particular period, say a month, it is $100. So say you're getting $100 a night, but during that time period, you are only occupied 70% of the time. That means, in this case, I've made the math really simple, you would have a revenue per room of $70, okay? And what they're saying is that they're expecting their revenue per room to drop by 23%. Now, also understand that that's January, February, March is what they're talking about for first quarter. My suspicion is that April was worse, and then, April will be worse. So second quarter drop is probably to be something very, very similar, but also in this particular case, it's not insignificant, because that is a lot of money. So for example, if you have a $70 revenue per room and you have a 100-room hotel, so now you have $7,000 a month is what you would be getting, right? And then you experience a 23% drop, that can be a problem, right? That's really what we're talking about. So you go from $70,000 down to 50-ish. That could have been your entire profit, right? Because it is not uncommon, especially in the short-term rental world, that your net profit on any given month is somewhere in the 20% of revenue range, and sometimes higher. So this is a problem, okay, for them for sure. And this is one of the things that you can rely on for the news, is to illustrate where there are problems. Now, our job, we're the entrepreneurs. We're to take this information and find other ways to make it work. So what does that look like in this particular case? Where'd it go? Okay, got it. So what it looks like is, Wow. So look at this sentence right here. It says Marriott International estimates revenue per available room, or RevPAR, will be down 23% globally for the first quarter. But while data is still being finalized, Marriott anticipates a 60% RevPAR decline globally in March. So it is literally saying more than half of your revenue is gone for the entire industry, not just them. This is exactly not. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a problem. You're like, well, I thought you were going to show us how to find opportunity, Jay. Yeah, totally hear you. So this is what I'm talking about. When you understand or can understand or take the time to understand, in this particular case, what a business does, and very specifically who they serve, by understanding who they serve, you can create a business plan that serves either that same person in a different way, or a different person in the same way, or a different person in a different way. Hopefully you got all three of those. So I'll say that again. When you understand what a particular business is doing, in this case, we'll just take Marriott or any business, mind you, you can choose to build a business around serving that same person in a different way, serving a different person in the same way, or serving a different person in a completely different way, if that makes sense. So when you put those three things together, it begins to identify a particular opportunity. So what is it about their business model that, like, if you wanted to serve the same person the same way, the same person a different way, you can analyze what it is that they're providing and go, well, I see how they are serving these people. How could I serve this same group of people, but in a different way? Like, what could I provide them? What is the core of their business, and how could I do that differently? That's a good question. Also, though, what if I was serving a different person in the same way? So maybe I am also a hotel or traditional accommodation space, but I'm serving a different type of person, right? Because Marriott has a number of brands, but certain ones attract certain people. Like maybe you are a Courtyard type of person, or some of you are the Four Seasons type of person. You get the idea what I'm saying there. And then maybe you're just looking to serve a completely different person in a different way. This is where short-term rentals comes in. Most people tend to conflate the two and think they're the same. They say that short-term rentals just like hotels, etc., and that's not quite accurate. We technically are serving, in a lot of cases, a different person in a completely different way, and that therein lies abundance of opportunity. Okay, so when you see that a particular business isn't doing well, one of the things you could do is figure out of those three things how that could work for you. So hopefully that helps. Now, I want to get to, like I said, sharing with you the questions you can ask yourself as you're beginning to plan your pivot, thinking about pivoting, building your strategy around your pivot, etc. But before I do that, I would love for those of you who are here for the first time, do me a favor, go ahead and type the word "first" in the chat. Yes, right now. That way, when we get towards the Q&A session at the end, I can also welcome you, because I want to make sure that we do that as well. And then for everybody, as always, what I'm going to ask, you know it's coming, make sure you remember to write one thing that you have learned, okay? Make sure that you write one thing that you have learned from this particular video, because again, it's about building you. You and I, we will never out-earn our personal growth. The reason we're doing this is to help people become entrepreneurs. Honestly, do something. Please do something. There's, 17 million-ish Americans who have applied for unemployment or so far. You going out there to build a business of some kind, become a part of the solution. There's not a shortage of labor, and it won't be for a while, okay? And learning to operate under this new economy is paramount for every business on the planet. So you may think someone is quote unquote ahead of you, but that's not true at all, because they're all learning how to adapt right now. All right. They're all learning how to adapt right now. So, this is also where I want to just remind everybody, if for some reason, if you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to get over to our new Facebook page. That's at facebook.com/Cashflow Diary Live. So, because we're going to be cutting down the number of locations that we're streaming to. And then for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you are in the right spot already. So no stress there. Make sure that you just stay there, hit that subscribe button, because that's really encouraging when you do so. And definitely the notification bell so that you know when we go live. All right. Now, what I want to talk about is the questions you should be thinking about, asking yourself, etc., when it comes to developing what is your pivot going to look like, and making sure that you are going in a different direction. Because understand, the business model fundamentally is what's changing. Like many of you have seen or you've experienced now that restaurants, for example, they're what they look like on the other end is going to be completely different, right? I even read an article, a headline today, where airlines, for example, are beginning to consider removing the middle seat on airplanes. Like removing the middle seat. Now, I'm not exactly upset about that, because maybe your boy can finally have some leg room. But at the same time, it's what you are used to. That is the past. Your business model will either adapt or it will die. And it's a choice. So what I want to do is I want to help you, even if you're forming something new, to give you some ideas around how you can begin to do that. Now, I'm reading from a document at this particular moment in time, but I'm going to read you the questions. That way you have them, the categories, and give you some questions. And for those of you who are in our elite product, the roadmap, know that we'll be talking about this in detail, and we'll be going through the workbook as well as the exercises and everything else that goes along with it. But for you guys right now, I want to make sure I get this to you so that you have something to begin to work with. So I am hoping you are ready to take some notes in some way, shape, or form. All right, here we go. There are 5 particular categories when you're trying to, I guess, what's the word? Morph. That's the word I'm after. Morphing your business model in this particular case. There are 5 different categories that you want to be paying attention to. Now, some of you may be familiar with a gentleman by the name of Thomas Ritter or Karsten Pedersen. I'm not quite sure which way you say it. And if you are familiar with the Copenhagen Business School specifically, and the concept of alignment squared, you'll be able to track along with where I'm coming from on this, right? So the 5 categories are as follows, right? You have results, okay? And I'm just going to give you the categories. Results, and then we have the customer. You will also have the value proposition, value demonstration, and capability. I'll say that again. The results, customer, value proposition, value demonstration, and capability. Here's those 5 areas will be the areas in which that there will be changes. That's what's going to morph your business model in some way, shape, or form. Those are the areas that we should be paying attention to, thinking about, and okay, how does my business do these things? So when we're talking about results, okay, when I'm talking about results, it's very simple. It's another way of saying, there's a whole bunch of information on the board already. Let me write it here. Let me write, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna erase this over here because I don't think I need this anymore. And then we will get to writing this for you guys. All right, so, all right, good enough for now. When we're talking about results, right? Let me see, was that big enough? I think so. All right, so when we're talking about results, what it comes down to is this is the same as saying things like, why are you in business? Like, what are you doing it for? Who are you? What kind of results do you want to achieve? What is that impact that's coming or that you hope to come from your business, right? So why are you doing this? There's a reason, there's a something that's behind it. But these are the fundamental questions. So for example, maybe you were in business before, or maybe you were just an intrapreneur. I'll call that an employee, right? An intrapreneur. You were an employee. You were an entrepreneur who was working for someone else at the time. Why are you running your business? Because see, BC, again, before Corona, you were probably running it for a certain reason. And now, has that changed? How has that changed? Or has it not changed at all? Even if your business is experiencing an increase, why are you running your business? Because you're still morphing. What's changing in some way, shape, or form? What is that? What type of results do you want to achieve? Has that also changed? And if so, how? Okay. The next part to think about is the customer, right? Similarly to what I was saying a second ago but who are your customers? Who is it that you are choosing to serve? Your business does something for someone. Well, who is that person? Do you know who that person is? Do you not know? Do you have no clue? And that's fine. Either way, my point is, who is that person? Has that person changed? And how are they affected by the business model or the crisis, if you will, that is currently in front of us? You must understand that we are judging this, and you may have to iterate, meaning change in small bits over time, because there's a time right now that's quote unquote during the crisis, and then there'll be a time that's right after the crisis, and then there'll be a time that is now the new normal, right? So we'll start in one spot and we'll end up in another, and you may have to change some of these things as it continues or matures. Who is that customer right now during the crisis? Who could that possibly be that your business is serving? Is that different than who it was? If so, that's fine. The point is, let's talk about how to pivot. Who is that? I don't know. And you get to make all of those choices around who it is. Okay? Next is, the value proposition. Right here. Whoops. 3. The value proposition. This is the what. What do you sell your customer? What is that? What is your product? Is it a service? And do you know? Have you defined it? More importantly, does anything need to change? Do you have a number of products that before it was great, but now these 12 no longer work as well as they do, and they don't really fit anymore? Those need to get cut. And these 8 we already had were great, and you know what? We can add 4 more because of this. What is that? This is why you've seen some new products, at least I've seen in my Facebook feed for sure, some of these new products that are shaped to make sure that your hands physically don't have to touch a doorknob, door handle, pushing buttons on ATM machines. Brand new product out of nowhere, right? But because of the situation because of the reality that now touching things is the thing, right? Before, and it's gonna sound gross now that I'm like highlighting it, but how many times did you touch, those doorknobs and the handles? And when you went to a commercial space, you never thought about it really. Maybe some of you did, but now we're all thinking about it. So much so that people have decided to pivot and build a product around that. What are you selling? And how has that changed? And more, again, remember, we still got during, we got immediately after, and then we also have the long-term during, immediately after, and then the new normal, whatever that's going to be, right? Because that's part of what you get to shape. Then, and this is the big one. This is probably, okay, so for those of you who are in the short-term rental space or want to be, a lot of the why, a lot of the who, and the value proposition, that much hasn't needed modification. There have been some modification, but not a ton, okay? My point though is, this next one is where the most modification was needed, is value demonstration. Demonstration. Hopefully that makes sense right there. It's value demonstration. This is a lot of how. Specifically, how do you go to the marketplace? How do you tell your customer your product exists? How do you let them know that you have this thing? And more importantly, has that changed, right? What is it? Meaning, if you're providing, for example, the easiest thing for me to think of is if you're providing a space. When you're providing a space, in this particular case, one of the things that we could do to demonstrate value was our proximity to, say, an amusement park like a Disneyland, if you will. Well, let's just say that that's not value demonstration anymore, right? However, highlighting our cleaning procedures, highlighting our disinfection procedures, highlighting even germicidal UV. That's a different type of value demonstration, and that's exactly what's necessary now. So hopefully you're tracking with that, and every business has to choose how are they going to go to market. Is your go-to-market strategy still going to work the same way it used to? Think about it. Here's another industry that's been pivoting like crazy, is late night talk show hosts, right? How they've been producing, the entertainment industry, how they produce their content, their value demonstration has completely changed. You know why? Because they can't go to the studio. And now they're like, how are we going to do this? And they've had to reinvent how they do the thing that they've always done because they could go to the studio. But it's not going to stop them, right? Does that make sense? It's not, oh, I guess it doesn't work anymore. No, they're going to find a way. They're going to perfect it, and they're going through it. This is, remember, like I said, it starts with during the crisis. This is how it works. Then it'll be another version that'll be immediately after, and then there'll be the new normal. So Trevor Noah is going to go through all of those stages, and he has the benefit of an entire studio and team and all this other stuff. But this is what they're doing, because see, why, who, and what didn't really change. This value demonstration, whoo, buddy, that's been the place that has totally rocked everything. Speaking of entertainment, and here's one of the ones that is going to be interesting to see what ultimately happens, is movies, specifically movies, right? It's kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen? Because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but here's something that I find staggeringly hard to believe, but is documented, is that the entire week of March 20th of this year, okay, the entire week, total domestic, meaning United States, box office, meaning ticket sales, was under $6,000. Yeah, all movies. Now, I'm still wondering how it got any money because I thought all the theaters were closed. So somebody's like, what, are you going to in the theater one person at a time? I have no idea how that's happening, but still $6,000. Understand, they have to really, really, really work on their value demonstration because they can't, quote unquote, afford to produce or release the movies that are already made or were in the process of being made. They can't afford to release them because they'll lose so much money, because so much revenue from repaying the production budget and the marketing cost is recovered by going to the movies, which is going to be different. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're in this process. This value demonstration is huge. Understanding that that's what had to change is the key to success. It's what we've been focusing on a lot with a lot of our students inside of our products, is helping them understand this. But every business, this is what it is. All right, and then we have the last one, and then we'll get to some of your questions. Whoops, sorry. Then we'll get to some of your questions because I want to make sure that we do that, and then we'll be done for today. Capability. Capability. This is also a big one for certain industries. Capability. This is think of it as asking what resources are required. Resources are required to run the business. What is it that we need in order to run this business? For example, think about sports entertainment. So this could be anywhere from those of you who like WWE to basketball to your soccer to your NHL to every sport. One of the things that's required are fans, and a lot of them in one spot. This is a problem, right? It's like, do we have the capability? Not at this moment, right? But what abilities do you need to run the business? And how has that changed? What will that look like during the crisis? What will it look like immediately after? And then what will it look like for your new normal? I don't know all of those answers for every business, but again, one of the things and the benefits, in my opinion, of providing housing is that the major resource, if you will, that changed was cleaning supplies. Well, initially it was toilet paper because some of y'all just went nuts and was like, great, how do I get enough toilet paper to keep providing for a short-term rental? I was freaking out a little bit because at the time we were going through 500 rolls of toilet paper every 3 days or so because of the size of the portfolio and the number of locations that our storage facility was serving. So it was I was concerned, like, we're gonna really be short on toilet paper if something doesn't change. Anyway, we resolved that issue, not my point. But understanding the resources that's required. So for some businesses, the amount of resources that's required or what's required won't change much. But for your business, and again, run every business idea you have through this, and you'll be able to develop a new way of working. So if you wanted to have a restaurant or have a restaurant right now, please tag somebody who has a restaurant, right? So that they can go, okay, what results are they wanting to generate? Why are you in business? Has that changed? Before, maybe you were trying to provide a quality environment where people can come relax and eat your grandma's recipe. Wonderful. Now it's, I'm going to focus we need to focus on being able to make sure that senior citizens get the quality nutrition. And do you see what I'm saying? It changes. This is what we're after. Why? What results? Who are we serving? How has that changed? How has the economic circumstances influenced it? Value proposition, what are we offering? Do I still need to, sorry, I always think of Cheesecake Factory. Do I still need to have 4,000 items on my menu? Or can I cut that sucker down? Value demonstration. Are we dependent on people to get together in order to move our product and tell people the message, the story, etc.? And if so, how does this need to change? You want to know why the internet is having trouble keeping up with everyone getting on? It's because businesses are changing their value demonstration, figuring out how to get themselves to more people. There's a shortage. You go almost anywhere. All of the equipment that it takes to bring information to people, there's a shortage of all of it. Because it got bought up. Because we were like, we need stuff to be able to communicate our product. How are we going to do that? And cameras and lenses and microphones and adapt gone because it all happened. Resources that you need in order to make it happen as well. So now we're at the point. If there's something that you have learned, something from this particular video that is helpful to you, if you can, do us a favor and just type that in the chat, yes, right now. Again, for those of you who are here for the first time, I definitely appreciate you guys being here because just let us know and type the word first in the comments. And as previously mentioned, we are in the process of consolidating all the places that we go live, which means if you're on Facebook, you want to get over to facebook.com/Cashflow Diary Live so that you can make sure to not miss any more of these. And then for those of you who are on YouTube, you are in the right spot. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button too, because that make me smile. That'd be great. And then also the notification bell so that you can be made aware when more stuff goes live. Oh, almost forgot. We are doing a special presentation over 2 days next week, and I'm going through the entire business model, if you will, as it relates to short-term rentals and why it works, how it works now. In fact, I saw a report today that literally said, and I quote, short-term rentals are outperforming their hotel counterparts right now because of the coronavirus and everything that's going on. So that was obviously encouraging when you can get third-party, well-researched data with graphs and charts and all this other stuff saying the same thing. And if you have a desire to get into real estate and or would like to be a part of it, feel free to go to cashflowdiary.com/learn live, get registered, and we'll let you know. But I believe it's next Wednesday and Thursday, so it's going to be over 2 days, and it's going to, guys, all day. I'm going to be going live all day, right? And it's going to be in a private area. You'll be able to get the links and whatnot when you go and register. All right, so now let's, what I'm going to do, let's see what you guys had to say today, and then we'll be done. Let's see what you guys had to say today. Ron says, good morning. Hey, Ron, how are you? Thank you. And so yeah, I'm noticing that you guys are noticing that my t-shirts change. So hopefully, Adriana, I don't know if this works for you today, but now you know what we got. So that's good. Megan is excited. Hey, Deborah, how are you? I definitely appreciate that. Money, what is going on? Good morning. I check out the replay for sure. Stepping out for your power walk. Awesome. Go get that in, man. Go get that in. Bill says happy Thursday. Yes, Robert is referring to the 23% decline in RevPAR that Marriott is talking about. Could it be the entire profit margin? And they, like I said, a decline of 60%. Now there's problems, right? There's problems. Hey, Bo, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm glad that you decided to tune in. Tag a friend. Thanks for being here. Please do something. Yes, I can't even begin to tell you how important it is to me. It hurts me to know that people are being laid off massively. And Some of you watching, some of you who keep tuning in, some of you who have always aspired to, now is your time because the marketplace is broken, meaning created an entry point for you, and you're afraid, and you're still afraid. You were afraid before, and you're still afraid now. And it's like, move, do something. Those 17 million people, most of them aren't going to go create a business. They're waiting on you. Do something. Shay, I looked up how to avoid touching door handles. I found free designs for a 3D printer to make them. What are the chances I get sued if I sell those on eBay? That's a good question. So one, there is a thing known as product liability, and I would encourage you to talk to an attorney because they would know how to help you with that, or an insurance agent would likely be able to know how to help you with that as well. So again, not my area of expertise, but that's what I would do, Shay. That's one of the first things I would do in order to make it work. Chandler says, good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jose, you're back. Yes. Awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to try, is it Depthy? Abraham. I can do that one. Anyway, thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate it for sure that you guys are showing up. Please hit that subscribe button, especially those of you on YouTube. Knowing which questions to ask is everything. Thank you, Peter, for saying that, because sometimes you can hear the word, like I don't even know how many entrepreneurs you're tuned into, but you heard the word, you got to pivot, 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 pivot. Great. What does it mean? Well, it means ask these questions in these 5 categories. And if you want to go deeper, ask them in the 3 ways. Meaning, how does that change during the crisis, immediately after, and then new normal? What is that? Because I know we often want to just skip to new normal, but marketplace might not be ready for new normal just yet. And that's okay, that's fine, but it's just something that we have to know, be aware of, etc. Got it. So where do we register for the 2-day presentation? You can do that at cashflowdiary.com/learn live. cashflowdiary.com/learn live. So let me see, was that the last one? Excellent. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I get excited for doing this. I'm getting excited because I don't know if you can tell, but we are investing, if you will, and making it, what's the word? We're investing in making the learning environment hopefully more interactive, easier to watch, easier to listen to, so that you can learn, so that you can grow, so that you can become bigger, better, better, and build yourself so that you can go out there and build your business. Ultimately, that's what I want. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm excited about, and hoping that you go out there to just go out there and click it. So, or kill it. What is this? It says, Shay is saying, I've been watching and today everything just clicked. That's great. Because see, the first time you hear something, it doesn't always, it doesn't happen to me all the time. You know, you got to hear it again and again and again. So yes, by all means, come back again. Because as I've said before, where there's chaos, there's cash flow, and there's a lot of opportunity out there right now. And there's 17 million, so far, 17 million people who will need a job, 17 million people who are looking for opportunity. And some of you can find some of the best talent right now if you just decide to go out there and start building yourself so you can build your business. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.